Hi, and welcome to today's podcast session, Your Fertility Counselor. I'm so glad you're here because today is a really special day. I have Edmund Pang here, the principal TCM physician of EMW in Singapore, and he is sharing all the knowledge and all the wisdom that he has accumulated during all these years of running his own practice at Scott's Road. He has not only a Master's of Medicine in Gynecology, but also he studied TCM. He did a further professional development in Ayurvedic therapy. He did a diploma in naturopathy. He is also a certified functional medicine practitioner. And one thing that you wouldn't think of, but he's also a certified yoga teacher. So I'm so happy to have Edmund here because we have been working with Edmund for many years and he has helped so many of our clients, and he's going to share in particular how sessions are being structured for those of you who are interested in natural conception, but also with IVF program, and how actually his approach is. So get ready, get a nice cup of tea or coffee if you'd like, and just enjoy. Let's get started. Here we go. I'm so excited to welcome you to this podcast show. Edmund, it's so fantastic to have you here today. Thank you for
Thank you.
coming.
Thanks for having me here today.
Yeah. So
Mm.
before we shoot off, I saw your incredible background, which is so amazing, and I can't wait to shoot off with my questions. But before we start diving into that, can you share with us and our listeners on like what your morning ritual is to get ready for your day?
Okay, so for me, mornings are about creating an anchor before the chaos of the entire day starts. Okay, so I have three kids and quite a busy clinic practice. So I don't have the luxury of like 2 hour morning routine, going to ice bath, then after that going for a short run or whatsoever. So, but I just designed mine to be a very short and grounding and a little bit more intentional. So the first thing I do, I wake up, of course, definitely I'll drink warm water, definitely. Warm water, not cold water. That's
Mm.
from a naturopathic as well as from a TCM perspective. Reason being because overnight, okay, the body has been in a fasting state, detoxifying, recalibrating. So warm water generally wakes up the digestive fire within all of us. So I strongly recommend everyone, to start the day with a warm drink. As compared to some of the conventional way, I mean we'll get to that later if we have time. Things like cold yogurt, cold overnight oats as compared to that lah. So in terms of TCM, we prefer something warm. Okay, so
Mm.
next, then after that we do, and then I'll do a few minutes of breath work. Okay, it can just be box breathing, it can just be alternate nose breathing just for 3 minutes or 5 minutes. Then after that, somehow or rather, okay, my kids will wake up together with me. Okay, even if like 6+, 7+, I mean, I don't know why. So because we co-sleep together. So when I wake up, then after that somehow, one or two will come together. Then after that, we just do the breathing together. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
amazing. You do this with your kids.
Yes. Of course, they do it correctly or wrongly. As long as they are with me, they are just like, I mean, I'm fine.
Yeah.
This is just a routine sort of thing. Then after that, we'll do like, prayers or some kind of, I wouldn't say affirmation for them. It's just say that, okay, today I'm going to be happy, something like some very simple thing for them. And I'll do some stretches here and there, and then they'll stretch with me as well. Okay, of course, it's not those kind of like Instagrammable kind of yoga poses. Okay, it's just like stretching, and then after that, just breathing while looking at the sun, and then that's it. Now that we have our breakfast.
Wow, what an amazing day to start your day. And I know this is such a great way to start your day with your kids, because
Mm.
so many of our friends actually always tell me, I can't do yoga or I can't do a breathing exercise in the morning because I always have the kids around.
Mm.
And the way how you do it is really to get them involved. And what a bliss for them to actually grow up in an environment where it's natural to them to actually focus on breathing as well as getting ready for the day. Oh,
Mm.
I'm having goosebumps already. Thank you. Thank you for sharing such a
Mm.
great inspirational start into the day. So for our listeners who don't know you, can you introduce yourself and also maybe explain how you got
Mm.
into the TCM and what do you do today?
Okay, so my name is Edmund. Okay, I'm a TCM physician in Singapore, registered. And other than TCM, okay, I went to masters in gynecology. That's why I delved into fertility and women's health. And I also went on to study Ayurveda. I went on to touch a little bit on yoga, on sound yoga, which is Nada yoga, and then naturopathy as well as functional medicine. Okay, so okay, it seems like here and there, a little bit here and there, but it's more of like getting the whole picture as well
Mm,
as to see whether do I have any blind spots or any loopholes if I just focus on just one. Of course, my TCM degree comes with biomedical science. So in Singapore, we have a double degree in biomedical science as well as TCM. So we in the morning your PPT slides, your lectures can be in Chinese from 8 to 10. Then after that, from 10 to 12, it can be in English. So
ah,
that's I mean that's a benefit of being a Singaporean. We know both English and Chinese. But our course is very intensive over 5 years for a double degree. And I grew up in a very conventional biomedical world, Singapore, where health is often reduced to just labs and medications. So of course that framework has its own strengths. But I always felt that something was missing, a human touch, a human story, the why behind illness, and the connection between your mind, your body, as well as your environment. So that's
mm,
why when I discovered TCM, it was like opening a door towards a different way of seeing the body. So instead of fragmented parts, it's a system of patterns, balance, and interconnection. So what
mm,
fascinated me most is not just, TCM doesn't just ask about what diseases do you have? It asks why is your body expressing itself this way? How can we restore harmony? And that
mm,
philosophy sort of like resonated a little bit with me. And fertility in particular, okay, it became a calling. Instead of just a specialty, because I think part of it comes from seeing so many couples around me struggle with fertility
mm,
silently. No, they are, I wouldn't say they are ashamed or they are afraid of sharing that, they are going through IVF, they are trying naturally for 5 years and then no news. And, the adults, the elderlies, especially in our Asian environment,
mm.
once you get married within 1 year, if you don't get a child, that means you got something is wrong with you, especially with the guy or with the girl.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yes, so that's why friends, patients, as well as people in my community. So fertility challenges wasn't just a medical challenge. They were
Mm,
like an emotional struggle. It was a relationship struggle, sometimes even spiritual struggle. So that's why
mm,
in our modern world, okay, with the
yeah.
stress, the late nights, the environmental toxins, okay, something that is not so discussed well right now, as well as
Mm,
our fast food cultures. Reproductive health often takes the first hit. And it all boils down to what we are feeding our kids, at a very elementary level, but this one is another topic. So that's
yes.
as we grow up, we have that standard mentality that, meal times are, as long as we have something to eat, that's fine. That's why then after we drink bubble tea when we leave our school, cold drinks, everything. So when you start to look into fertility through the lens of TCM, Ayurveda, functional medicine, as well as naturopathy, okay, I
Mm,
realized that it's not just about ovaries, it's not just about sperm counts, it's about the entire ecosystem of the body.
mm,
For example, in TCM, we talk about kidney as the root of fertility, but it's closely tied towards the spleen and liver, which is our digestion, which is our emotional control. So in
mm,
functional medicine or in biomedical science, it translates to adrenal health, gut health, and liver detox pathway, all of which, right, now science actually shows they are very critical for hormonal balance as well as reproductive function. So in
mm,
Ayurveda as another layer, which is balancing doshas, supporting
mm.
digestion, aligning with circadian rhythm, which is the seasonal, the yearly, the daily kind of rhythm. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I just keep blabbering out.
No. It's so fascinating because basically what you are saying is all the years that you have dedicated to your studies actually seems to me at least that they are all coming together now with this
Mhm.
incredible knowledge and experience that you can now actually give to your clients, right?
Mhm.
Wow, this is so amazing. So
So, yeah, sorry.
so just for me to understand, so someone gets in touch with you, and this woman is saying she has tried everything in the natural way, and nothing is working. She's been trying for 6, 7, 8 months, or even longer. Many try also longer. Um, how would you actually start? Like, where do you start?
Okay, of course, if this person comes in, you say that, okay, I've tried everything naturally.
Mm,
So, I go through this framework called SANE, sleep, this one. A, anxiety reduction. Would you have a guess for N?
um, nutrition?
Very good.
Okay.
And E is for exercise. So
Okay.
those four pillars is a evidence-based lifestyle intervention,
Mm,
which if, I mean, that's where that I would thoroughly, look upon into their lifestyle. Have they really met these four lifestyle interventions correctly and accurately 10 upon 10? Okay.
mm,
Only then after that, I would say that, okay, yes, you have tried in your natural way in terms of a lifestyle that you did what you can,
mm,
okay, for fertility. And then that's where that, okay, we move on to the next step. Okay, that's where we need Western interventions. Now, um, it also comes down to the point where I have a few patients, who did really very well in their lifestyle, okay?
mm,
And then previously, they have failed their IVF, but then they went on to things like, genetic testing,
mm.
PGT.
Yes.
Yes. So in Singapore, you are still, on the limbo, but overseas you can do quite a bit. So,
Yeah.
and that's where that they realize that, they still have euploids, okay,
Mm,
as compared to in the past, either their PGT test fail or their blastocysts, they don't have a lot of better gradings. So
mm.
somehow or another, okay, unexplained infertility,
Yeah.
usually from a TCM perspective, okay, we can put you towards a certain pattern that will try to optimize your fertility environment within your body. But of course, trying naturally requires time, requires effort, requires mood. So this
Mm,
is something that, we as outsiders, okay, we don't know the background story, we don't know the context of their family synergy. So if they, for some reason, they couldn't try um that many times during the fertility during the fertile period, because one time during the period fertile period or ovulation days, okay, it's a hit or miss. Okay, we have to give you a range, okay, of course, to try during that period of time, of course not every day. Of course, for some reason, couldn't even perform or try even once. And then
mm,
that's where that I'll think that we optimize your body for the male and female. And then after that, you can go for IVF. Okay, I'll support you through IVF, because your objective is it's not for you to decide whether, we should try naturally or we should try IVF. The objective, if you're open to IVF, of course, then your objective is to have a kid, a healthy kid. So this is my role. Okay,
yeah.
yes, so this is what I'll start the conversation with my patients.
Yes, yes. And I like the way how you actually explained that you would look into like all these different pillars,
Mhm.
first to see like where your patients are at, and only then you would actually start to discuss like what could be like a possible plan. So when
Mhm.
you say like you mentioned at the very beginning, just before to decide whether they need Western intervention, Western medical intervention. By that, you mean like starting to go into like the testing and see like how sperm quality is like and all of that and how the hormones are?
Correct. So I think this is more of like a question on how TCM approach
Mm-hmm.
fertility differently as compared to Western medicine,
Yeah.
because this is very important, because understanding the differences helps people to see how these two systems can complement each other rather than,
Absolutely.
to compete. Okay, biomedical science, Western medicine, okay, typically approach fertility with a focus of diagnosis as well as intervention. This is very target oriented, which is very straightforward. Okay, this is science. Okay, so for example, if there's a blocked fallopian tube, the solution would be IVF to bypass if you cannot do a recanalization, which doctors seldom do right now. So if hormones are imbalanced, you are low on estrogen, your lining is thin, I'll give you Progynova. I'll give you estrogen tablets. Okay, this is to override the system within our body. So it's precise, it's structured, it's often very effective in creating pregnancies when natural conception is difficult for during IVF. All right, whereas for TCM, on the other half, okay, so we approach fertility through the lens of balance and pattern. So we don't ask what's wrong with the ovaries or sperm. We ask what is the whole ecosystem of the body doing and why. So, so if the body is nourished, okay, nourished in terms of yin, yang, qi, blood, qi and blood. So there are four different big aspects of TCM that we will diagnose through our tongue, our pulse, as well as the elimination method. So for example, we'll ask about your bowels. We'll ask about, do you pee at night? How many times do you wake up a lot of times during the night? Or do you sleep through? And then yes, so in advanced TCM, you actually feel the jaws. Okay.
Oh,
Okay, this is the reason because
what's the jaws?
the
Yeah,
reason
for what is that?
so this is to see whether do you actually grind your teeth or do you bite your teeth
Oh,
while you're sleeping. So this is cortisol overdrive. This is liver qi stagnation. There are a lot of ways to actually to diagnose throughout the entire body. Because when we feel pulse, we're actually feeling the very mystical terms is energy, but actually it's the tension of your radial artery. So if we feel it, it's like, I'm not sure if you have seen the classical Chinese kind of piano, the qin, they have like one line, one line, one line.
yes, yes, yes.
Yes. So this is one representation of some of the pulse that we see today, which is a wiry pulse, which is this person is very tense because the muscle is so tense that it reflects on the artery.
Wow.
Okay, just this one of the different many scenarios. So that's
Yeah.
why TCM is an accumulation of experience. You need to feel like 10,000 pulses before you know what the ancient sages are talking about.
Wow.
So yes. So so we can feel tension. Some of the TCM masters in China, they don't feel the pulse, they just feel your muscle, just feel on your arm, forearm. And after that, through their years of experience, they can diagnose with that. So pulse is just one of the things that is being taught throughout the years. But then we see you as a person, we'll
Yeah.
roughly know whether which spectrum that you fall into.
Wow, I'm in complete awe. I didn't know about the muscles. I always knew about the pulse, but didn't know about the
Mm,
muscle. That's so,
mm.
so interesting.
Mm.
Goodness.
Okay, so muscle is one. Sorry, I just dived a little bit since we're at there. So muscle is one. So
Mm,
when we look at your abdomen, this is
mm,
also another diagnosis way. Some tummies, some women, okay,
yeah.
they are very tight. I'm not sure if you have seen your clients or so the
Mm,
muscles are very tight. So this is also a cortisol overdrive. That means this person tends to suck in the belly and then
mm.
they breathe through their lungs instead of doing abdominal breathing.
Yes.
So their diaphragm is tight, and this will create cortisol over time. So this is liver qi stagnation as well. So,
Yes.
this is something that we see most of the time. Now, on the other spectrum, there are people with flabby tummies, and then they breathe through their tummy, yes, but then they don't have elasticity in their tummy.
Oh,
The abdominal muscles, the abdominal muscles. So this is something that also guides me in terms of what acupoints that I use, what herbs that I use, and
mm.
then what kind of advice or lifestyle that I would tell this patient because everyone is different.
Yes. Yes.
Mm,
Oh, wow. And you just mentioned now something else that I wanted to actually ask you about the herbs. So I'm hearing that you are actually using herbs as well to give to your clients.
mm,
Yes. Okay. And which cases in like if someone is doing IVF, again, of course, you would actually look at the whole person, right? And the whole spectrum of hormones and everything. So what else is there that you would usually really particularly look for someone who wants to start an IVF? How would that work? And maybe you can also, I'm also thinking, sorry, I'm asking two questions now. I'm also thinking about, can you walk us through how that would work with a woman who's, or a couple who actually is signing up for an IVF program? How many times would you see them during an IVF program and what would you do?
Okay, so herbs are prescribed in our clinic,
Hmm.
not during IVF cycle. It's
Okay.
before IVF cycles because the 90 days to 120 days before your IVF cycle.
Ah.
Okay, this entire period is a cycle of follicular genesis, which is the start of, your body starting to form the egg after a then after that, the the follicular intrafollicle count that happens on day 2 of your scan of your IVF cycle. So that 120 days before that scan, this period of time, if you have
Mm,
been doing well on your lifestyle intervention, as I mentioned, the 4 pillars, SANE, okay, you are actually optimizing the environment within your body for the best egg quality.
mm,
Now, this is if you have done it right. So, but you could have done it wrongly on your SANE, which will result in a not so ideal egg on day 2 of the intrafollicle count scan.
mm,
Get me so far? Okay, so herbs are prescribed during this follicular genesis stage. So once we start the IVF, we don't give herbs because doctors are still afraid of contraindications, mixed herbs and drug interactions, which I'm totally fine because the research as of now favors more of acupuncture during IVF as compared to herbs. Herbs
mm,
during IVF is only done mostly in China, which, during my master's days, we do it. Just that when we come to Singapore, we have to sit into the ecosystem of Singapore.
hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
So this is something. So herbs. Okay,
Mm,
so we'll do the diagnosis at the start of the 3 months program. Then after that, the herbs will be taken every day,
mhm,
throughout the entire 90 days before we start IVF. That's if patients wish to optimize their body before IVF. Now, of course, most women want to get pregnant like yesterday. So
mm,
probably they will just come in on like, I know, next week is my IVF cycle. Okay, what can I
mm.
do to optimize my body? So then after that, of course, I couldn't give herbs, so we'll just do acupuncture.
Okay.
Then during that, so now to the second question. During
Hmm.
your IVF cycle, okay, okay, now we are looking at fresh cycle.
Yeah.
Okay, so we do a fresh, we do a frozen. So fresh, we usually do 3 times before the
The
trigger
hormone
shot,
stimulation.
trigger shot. So from day 2,
Hmm.
okay, from day 2, that's where they start your medication, all the way
Yeah.
until your trigger shot, which is on day
Ah.
4.
Hmm.
Yes. Then after that, we'll do 3 times acupuncture, depending on your constitution, depending on what conditions that you have. Okay, it will be tailored differently.
Hmm.
Then once you have the trigger shot, once you have your, when you retrieve your egg, you do your sperm fertilization. Then if you're going to do a transfer, we'll do 1 time. Okay, before and after. 1 time before your
Mm.
transfer, 1 time after your transfer. Then after
And that
that,
would be, sorry, on the same day?
correct. If
Okay.
if
Mm.
if because in Singapore we don't have the luxury of doing going to IVF centers to do acupuncture. So
Hmm.
unless you are doing early in the morning of a transfer, then after that we will do 1 day before and then on the actual day after the procedure.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Then after that, one more time, 3 to 5 days later after that transfer.
Ah, okay. And what's the reason for doing that 3 to 5 days after the transfer?
Okay. So before so I just say the functions for the entire cycle. So
Yes.
the 3 times before trigger shot, this is for follicular growth, okay, for lining optimization. Then
Mm.
after that, before and after transfer, okay, there's many well-known research that's have done that if you do acupuncture before and after the transfer,
Mhm.
okay, the success rate is higher. 3 to 5 days later, there are also research that has been done. Okay, this is to reduce cortisol level. This is
Mm,
to help with progesterone level, and this
mm.
in a way it helps with implantation.
Oh, fantastic. So
Mm.
it also helps with the blood circulation.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yes, yes. And oh, thank you so much for walking us through. This is so interesting. So you said like this would be for the fresh transfer,
Oh,
right?
yes, yes, yes.
And would it be different for frozen?
Okay, so for frozen, it's just that because we do egg retrieval at one, we
Mm-hmm.
do frozen cycle as another cycle. So for the egg retrieval cycle, same thing. We do 3 times before the trigger shot. Then after that, if you have things like OHSS, okay, that's why probably you lead on to a frozen cycle. And then we'll do acupuncture if you have OHSS. If you have no OHSS, you don't need to treat anything, we'll just rest.
Mm-hmm.
After we moved on to the next cycle. The next cycle, same thing. Okay, there'll be depending on your lining. Of course, if your lining is poor, we'll do 3 to 4 times before your transfer. If your
Oh,
lining is good, triple liner, 9 mm, very good, then after that, we'll just do 2 times.
okay,
Then after
okay.
that, on the transfer day, same thing, before and after, and then after that, 3 to 5 days later.
And that's through acupuncture, no herbs, right? Like what you
No,
said before.
no hurt.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yes, but now, okay, because we just opened another branch, we do moxibustion. I'm not sure if you heard before.
Ah, yes.
Uh,
Yes, I've heard about it. I did it myself, actually.
Very
Yes,
good.
yes.
So,
I think it put me to sleep.
yes. Okay, so moxibustion and acupuncture in the olden days, they
Mm,
go together. Okay, so in Chinese, acupuncture, okay, we always refer it as 针灸. I'm not sure if you heard before this in Chinese, but 针 is needling, 灸is moxibustion burning. So
Um,
in the past, actually, they go together. It's just that because, in our clinic, the ventilation is off, it's enclosed area. If you have a burning stuff, the
mm.
sprinklers will go off.
Yes.
So we managed to get a branch where, is open air. So we do moxibustion. So
Mhm.
moxibustion, the main effect comes in. First thing is to introduce elemental fire or heat energy within the herbs into the body. That's one. Second
Mhm.
thing, it creates vasodilation on the targeted area. So we do it for those lining that are poor. I mean, they are retin. Then we also do it for those with very poor follicular growth. So there's to increase vasodilation. We do it at the
Wow. And
front.
that's all with moxibustion.
Yes. So we do with needling plus moxibustion on the top.
Yes, yes. But that would be in a different place, you said, that you managed to get.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
to secure it. Okay, okay, fantastic. Wow.
Mm.
You mentioned something that really caught my brain just before. You said like that the reason, also one of the reasons, one of the many reasons, in fact, to do acupuncture is to reduce cortisol.
Mm-hmm.
And what we are seeing in the counseling, when we have clients going through the embryo transfer, I mean, studies are showing that the highest two stressors during an IVF program is, first of all, egg retrieval, and
Mm-hmm.
second is embryo transfer.
Mm-hmm.
And embryo transfer is usually where we see a lot of our clients because this is where they feel like they lose this control over their body. They can't do much about it, and it's waiting 2 weeks and not having any appointments during those 2 weeks. And potentially, we can see how actually anxiety is increasing towards the endpoint just before they need to go to do the blood test to get the final results. Um, you also mentioned before that you would do acupuncture again 3 to 5 days after embryo transfer. Are you seeing any of these clients, like, are you seeing differences because you do acupuncture and help them to reduce cortisol? Like,
Mm-hmm.
can you explain a little bit more about that? Because potentially there is still one more week to go until they get the results, whether they are
Mm-hmm.
pregnant or not. And is
Mm-hmm.
there any additional help that you can offer?
Okay. Every time they come into our clinic, okay, it's more of like, seeing us and then me,
Mhm.
okay, sort of like nagging again. It's more like let them having, the reassurance that, okay, I'm coming in. Okay, of course, acupuncture can help to reduce cortisol, but in a way, uh, it's also our duty, okay, I would say reassure, is to remind them that stress, okay, definitely you will have it. Okay, definitely you have anxiety waiting for the results. It's just like, the whole entire Singapore is waiting for PSI results, O-level results. It's the same. It's just that by stressing, you spend energy stressing. You spend time stressing. You spend time searching for ChatGPT on certain symptoms that you have may or may not that leads to pregnancy. Now, instead of using that stress and energy to do such stuff, that energy can be catered to something like alternate nose breathing, can be
Mm,
catered towards something like, doing something, together with your husband, watching Netflix, putting your focus somewhere else. Because definitely the energy, if you don't use it, you'll be falling back into a ChatGPT again to thinking about your pre-pregnancy or post-pregnancy kind of like symptoms. So that's
mm,
why it's more of like me diverting or giving them solutions. I'm not talking to them. I'm asking are they feeling. Some
mm,
patients are very they already know what they want to do. Okay, they know that they'll be stressed, but then they will spend time, okay, building Legos, for example.
mm,
So they'll spend time reading a book or just watching movie marathon with her husband. So, uh, by acupuncture, okay, acupuncture will set the flow out. But before they leave the clinic, okay, definitely I'll remind them again. Okay, this entire week is going to be, you have to be waiting for something. But then the energy, again, as I mentioned, okay,
mm.
I've already helping you, to cool your system down. It's up to you, to spend the energy wisely on certain things that can help you, instead of just spending it on things that will continue to stress you more.
Yes, yes. And that's such a great reminder because this is what I feel they usually need to be hearing this from someone like you who
Mhm.
has this holistic approach and who is actually helping them as much as you can, right? Yeah, yeah. What would be your approach for those women who have experienced maybe either unsuccessful IVF cycles? What would be like a specific focus that you would look into? Anything that you do differently than from someone coming fresh into an IVF for the first time?
Oh, you mean women who have, had repeated.
Repeated cycles. Yeah,
Mm.
exactly.
Okay, someone who is new to IVF, like the first cycle, okay, their anxiety comes from not knowing what to expect,
Mm,
as compared to someone who is seasoned veteran of IVF system. Then after they come in, they'll think that they have done everything. So as I mentioned earlier on, if it depends on what is their outlook or their mentality when they come in for the first visit. So if they come in, they feel that we have failed a lot of times, but we are unsure of anything that we have done wrong, done right. Okay, this kind of patients is a lot more receptive, and then I'll talk a little bit more about the SANE framework, and then how from diet. Okay, fine. Okay, you think that you're eating healthy, but then what else can you do better? So it's more of
mm,
like a coaching sessions for those who are who think that they have done a lot of times, and then after everything they have done correctly, what else is wrong?
mm,
Okay, but of course, there are certain patients who are closed mentality. They are thinking that, no, everything I'm done already. I'm not going to do anything else. Then this is something that, we can only, through time to break down the cold wall, okay, to break down the coldness within them. But of course, I believe in affinity in this world. Okay. Okay, there are patients that we can help, there are patients that we cannot really help. So
yeah.
especially in TCM, it's an energy medicine eventually. I mean eventually. So this is something that if you have a rapport, I can spend an hour to tell you on the entire meal plans that you can have,
Mm,
regarding your IVF cycle. Because we have this fertility nutrition course, online course that is a video on demand that I will encourage my patients to purchase. And then I have meal plans for male and female, 10 days.
mm.
And then this is to restore, your vitality first, your health, your gut health before I talk about fertility.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Because if you have no vitality, you have no sense of motivation going into into an IVF, you are not looking victory. Actually, you are just going in because since I feel already, then I just go in again. Or I change another IVF center, you know. But because this analogy I always use. So let's say, for example, if you
Mhm.
still your O level, for example, okay, what will you do for the next year? You won't be spending your time, just playing games and then after that go and retake the O level for hoping in order to pass. No,
Mhm.
you will revise after you search, you seek for tuition, you ask for tips, and after that you prepare yourself before you go for the next exam. But in IVF, sadly, no. Once you fail an IVF cycle, you are just asked to continue, no? Just continue another cycle. If not,
Mhm.
you go to another IVF center and then after that just continue.
Mhm. Mhm.
Mm. So
Yes.
this is where I think that I comes in. Okay, I prepare yourself, ask you further, dive you deeper into what else can you improve on. Okay, then after that, if you can do it, we work together. If not, then
Yes.
go for another IVF cycle.
Yes. Yes. Oh, wow. Yes. I see that you are really also taking the time. So how long is a session usually when they come to you? Like,
Okay, I usually work around 45 minutes to an hour just on consultation. Okay, unless you are closed mentality that you have nothing else to ask, I have nothing else that I can do. But usually, I think 95% of the time or 99% of the time is around 30 minutes to an hour. Okay, just
mm,
to dive deep on it. But then of course we have a repeat consultation every time we start the acupuncture. This repeat consultation can be up to 15 to 30 minutes,
mm,
depending on what kind of questions that you have. Okay, then
mm,
after that we moved on. So we have this fertility nutrition course that answer mostly of what you're going to ask anyway for diet wise. We also have this EMW community that is an online platform that upon being our patient, okay, you can log into it. I've written extensively a frozen
mm.
transfer playbook, egg retrieval playbook, whereas you what to eat, do what, don't do what, after that, what to do.
Yeah.
So everything is there.
Wow, that's really, really amazing. So
Mm,
so one that actually enrolls with you and registers with you gets actually really like access also to these plans of how to
correct.
prepare best for an embryo transfer, fresh or frozen, depending on like their IVF doctor's approach.
Mm,
Wow, that's really, really great. Um, Something that I wanted to ask as well, Edmund, is we also sadly experience those clients where they have done everything right or tried their best, but unfortunately, even by getting pregnant first, but then they experience a loss along their journey. And it could be a loss in week 8 or 9 early on, or it could be a loss later on.
mhm.
And we often get a question about because they would ask the doctor and us as well, when can I restart again trying?
Mm.
There anything that has worked extremely well that you have seen, like if one takes so and so long a break and does this and that, this would prepare the body as at its best again to try again.
Okay, you're talking about the after miscarriage.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, after miscarriage, retrying again after a miscarriage. Yes, that's a question that we
Mm.
often get asked.
Okay, it depends on the age, for example.
Hmm.
Okay, so if you're telling me this women, it's like 45, 46, 47, then I wouldn't recommend you, to continue waiting so long. Of course, because the time sort of is running up. Okay, but then the general rule is after miscarriage, that 1 month, I would advise not to try. I would
Hmm.
advise you to optimize with TCM herbs and acupuncture
Hmm.
during
Hmm.
that month. That is the bare minimum. Okay, so let's say for example, if I feel your pulse, you are like, going into um I would say emotionally not so balanced kind of stage,
Hmm.
whereas you are not so mentally I would say mentally sound. Emotionally you're not that right. So then I would encourage, to wait for at least 2 or 3 months later.
Mm.
That's from my pulse as well as my diagnosis, provided you are below 45 years old.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. So, because I strongly believe that if you're emotionally is still not right, you are still crying, you are still grieving for your loss,
Mm.
okay, allow yourself time, to do that instead of, before you even clear off this, I would say emotional blockage, and then
Yes.
you carry on to carry another one,
Hmm.
it's more detrimental in the long term.
Yes.
Yes. So I would say bare minimum is 1 month. But of course, if time allows and then I think that you have the need for it, then after that it'll be 3 months.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense because the body needs some time to actually, yeah, come back to strength, right? But mentally and emotionally, that's even more important, I feel sometimes, because IVF can become a roller coaster.
Mm.
It can be a straight line for many people, but it can also get twists and turns, as we know. Yeah, yeah. Is there a particular story that you remember that you went through one of your patients that um, that you felt like emotionally that was really like a beautiful story to share without actually reflecting any names or saying any names or
Okay, there are quite a bit. But one that I can think of is okay. So a woman who comes in her late 30s. Okay, after almost 6 years of trying to conceive, so that she has been through multiple rounds of IVF, several surgeries for endometriosis, especially stage 4. Then after that they clear off. Every time they clear off, there's some kind of endometrial lesion somehow, and then
Mhm,
countless cycles of disappointment. So definitely, by the time she came into the clinic, emotionally exhausted. She told me that I don't even recognize myself anymore. So because my whole identity has been trying and trying, hopefully to get a kid, but I'm just failing and failing. No,
mm,
this is something that, if she doesn't verbalize in words, I'm sure a lot of women, undergoing infertility, this thing is coming in.
mhm,
Yeah, so this comes to affirmation. This is you are negatively affirming yourself that you are failing.
mhm,
So from a TCM perspective, so definitely I can see clear signs of liver qi stagnation with blood stasis. Her cycle was like painful, clotty. Her pulse is wiry, as I mentioned. And then it stick out her tongue is purplish. So it's in a normal balanced person, you should be seeing a light pink color. So but her tongue is purplish. And then from a functional medicine angle, she has very high inflammatory markers. She has very poor gut health in that sense because you can see from her bowels are like 2-3 days once. And then her tongue, okay, we see gut health from the tongue as well. So we have this very thick coating, which is a sign of dampness building up within our body. So which match her digestive symptoms. So as I explained to her that even though IVF hasn't worked out yet, okay, her body isn't broken. It's just giving us a lot of signals that if we can restore circulation, calm inflammation, as well as support her stress, okay, we might be able to change the terrain. Okay, so we worked together, for almost a year. So she committed to acupuncture, herbal formulas, then after that we changed her diet into an anti-inflammatory diet to reduce her gut issues.
mm.
So the confidence comes in is when she starts to feel energy, she starts to
Oh,
feel her gut health improving, and then her sleep getting better. So in the past, she'll wake up like every hour, 2 hours, she'll start to wake up for no reason, and then after that it takes a while to go back to sleep. And then after that she realized that she had been sleeping like 4 or 5 hours block, which is definitely good instead of sleeping through the night, definitely.
mhm,
So she came in and just said that, okay, so even if I never get pregnant, I finally feel like myself again. Okay, so
mm,
this is already a victory. So I always remember this I'm not sure if you are into, I mean, I'm sure you are into Ayurveda. No, there's this
mhm,
Ananda Maya Kosha. There's 5 koshas. So Ananda Maya Koshas, which is internal bliss. Internal bliss means that you are one with yourself. That means you
mm.
do feel yourself again. You are mindful
Yes.
of yourself. Yeah, so I'm very happy about that. So then after that, she said that, okay, maybe I should start to try IVF. But then, just give me a few more months. Then after that, I'll book for an IVF cycle. Then after that, we start again. Then fine, I'm totally fine. But then just later, 2 to 3 months later, okay, she messaged in. And then after that, she told me that she got pregnant naturally for the first time in her
No way. Oh, my
And then
goodness.
yeah, so then after that, she went on the carry term and then delivered a healthy baby. I really forgot what age by the time she delivered, but I remember it's the late 30s. So this story is meaningful to me, not just for the baby, because of this
Yes.
woman. Watching her reclaim her body, her
Mm,
confidence, her joy, long before the pregnancy turned positive. So
mm,
that's the essence of fertility medicine. It's not just the outcome. It's giving people the whole sense of wholeness so that if and when her new life starts, it allows space for a new life to happen in her womb.
Exactly, exactly. And I think even beyond, like what you said, also what comes from my mind is also what we focus in counseling is also that, one feels balanced in mind and body, but throughout the pregnancy, but also post-birth. Because what you want to see is not only a healthy baby, which is wonderful to have, but also a healthy mom
Correct.
who feels energized and who feels strong actually to be able to nurture that baby. So because this is often something that we see, like if it starts on a very bumpy beginning, it can actually affect very well the bonding post-birth between mom and baby. And this can then call for another set of challenges. Yeah.
Correct. So that's why I always believe that, fertility counselors like you, or
Mm.
counselors in general, okay? I mean, words are your medicine. And I always
Mm.
find that, you guys did a great job, in just using words, to turn the mindset, turn the direction instead of us. You guys definitely speaks better than us. Okay, just that, I always believe the highly and the utmost importance of fertility counselors in this journey.
Yeah, and it's so great to see that it's not like a one-stop thing that people are
Mm.
coming. You do like your 5 minutes thing, and which I actually experience very often with TCM. There is very little conversation in a very in the usual settings. But with you, it seems that you're really setting aside the time and you're taking the time to talk to your
Mm.
patients and really explain about things and getting to know what they really need. Because I think that's such an important part of your job, actually.
Mm, mm.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing all your wisdom and experiences. And one can really see that how all the different trainings that you did and that didn't seem connected maybe at the beginning, but they are all coming together now, right? In what you
Mm.
do.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. One last question before we come to the end, Edmund, and feel free to share anything that you want as well. I was wondering, we are also very mindful about the partners, the male partners, because very often in IVF, it seems everything is about the woman. And we make it a point in our sessions to really encourage the couple to go together to this appointment so that the feeling of feeling alone or a feeling of not being involved is being addressed because man plays such an important role on an IVF journey for a woman because they are the guys who actually really like the rock in the ocean, no matter how big these waves are, but they are there and they are holding the fort and giving the space to their partner. I'm wondering, do you recommend for your patients to come as a couple? Actually, do you recommend for husbands to come along if you do the acupuncture as a preparation for their wives for IVF? Or do you usually say, it's actually fine, but maybe that appointment is good to have you together? And then we do like some single appointments. Like, what's your approach in that?
Okay. So it comes down to the question where does the male needs to get treated or not?
Mm.
So let's say, for example, if the male has to get treated, definitely they'll come together. Okay, now there comes a question where the male is fine, you don't have to treat them, but whether is the presence important for the women. Yeah.
Mm.
So definitely it's very important because I would say that it'll be good to sit in together because whenever I talk to the women about lifestyle interventions, it definitely
Yeah.
has to involve you. You have to, if I ask you to sleep before 11, but your husband sleeps at 2 a.m., how can you have the you couldn't be sleeping during that time. So very important because that's my important role of them sitting together because whatever viewpoints that I have, when I portray it out, both of them hear it at the same time. So they have a common consensus on how they can work on together.
Mm.
This is very important. That's one thing. Second thing, if the husband is together with the women on every visit, okay, their relationship you can see from the way they talk, their interactions, their eye contact. Okay, this relationship is very strong, which will eventually lead to I wouldn't have a statistic to build it up on, but definitely, when when they celebrate, happiness together, when they get a positive or they go through miscarriage together, somehow or rather the women recovers faster.
Mm.
Okay. Then one thing comes down to the third point is, however, I have a lot of patients who come in who come in alone without the husbands.
Mm.
Okay, the usual reasons will be, due to work, due to whatsoever. And then after that, there are even I wouldn't there are even some reasons that say that, okay, because my husband is busy, so I can only choose one day to try during the natural ovulation period. My husband is only free during the egg collection period where they have to deposit the sperm, the rest is not. So the question that comes to my mind is usually, if you don't have the time to make a baby, what
Mm.
makes you think that you have the time to take care of a baby?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean it comes down to priority management eventually. So well, we are all outsiders. Yeah, we can only, give our advice, but then the synergy is eventually up to them.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm,
exactly. And it brings me back that you actually formed this partnership and also
mm,
parenthood actually before having your baby in your arms.
yes.
Because this energy is out there, right? So
Mm.
it's yeah, you are absolutely spot on with what you are discussing with them. And good to hear that you involve the husbands as well in those lifestyle factors, because many husbands that they think like, oh, this is all about her, I don't need to be involved, but actually it's
Mm.
quite important to them as well to have a good sleep hygiene and good nutrition because they want to be a healthy dad too.
Correct. You're totally right on that. So
Yeah.
that's why it's very important that they get on board together with what kind of nutritional factors, nutritional deficiency, or what kind of food they should be having on breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Some husbands even prepare the meals for the wife. So,
Mhm.
so the wife will emotionally definitely will feel a lot more ease and happy as compared to some who has to, secretly prepare their meals at one. Then after that, they have to cook something that is more flavorful, more fatty stuff for their husband. And then after that, we are not on board together.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I see that exactly the same. Do you like looking in like 5 to 10 years ahead
Mm,
of how everything is evolving and how also donor, we haven't even talked about donor, that maybe that could be a topic for a next time,
mm.
but how IVF is evolving and everything. Um, how do you see the TCM role evolving over the next years? What are the challenges that you foresee, or what are yeah, the things, your role that you foresee?
Okay, so the 5 to 10 years from now, I do foresee TCM being a more integrated system into the mainstream IVF care.
Mhm.
Okay, because now currently in overseas, even in Malaysia, okay, many clinics already recommend acupuncture for transfer day support. They even allow, TCM physicians to go into IVF centers to do acupuncture so that patients doesn't have to move here and there. As compared to in Singapore, we still have to move after your transfer, which a lot of women, feel a little bit deterred, from moving too much after a transfer.
Mhm.
So I do see that in 5 to 10 years time, we will see more structured integrative protocols. Whereas because now I would say that as compared to 10 years ago, Western doctors are slightly more open towards TCM acupuncture.
Mhm.
Okay, so this is where that we can work together with reproductive endocrinologists, okay, to co-manage cases from the start. So imagine, a patient comes in, starting IVF with a pre-IVF TCM preparation program, or just a lifestyle preparation program built into the package. So we can do lifestyle intervention, we can do acupuncture. Then after that, this is to help them on their constitution as well as circulation. Plus, even things like something that is of the norm, which is functional testing. Okay,
Mhm.
so instead of optional add-on, okay, now we look into the patient in a holistic lens before we even start the IVF cycle.
Yes, Yes,
Ah,
absolutely,
yes,
absolutely. And I think stress will be there. It will remain there, if not even increase. So definitely the lifestyle factor and health will be very, very important for people. Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So, sorry, I just add on to the stress part. So, stress, definitely we'll encounter during IVF cycles before and
Mhm.
after egg retrieval transfer. It's because it's there. It doesn't mean that we cannot do anything about it. So,
Mhm.
but a lot of people tend to look into supplements, okay, as a band-aid for stress. I know they take in things like ashwagandha, okay, which is good. Okay, it helps with stress.
Mhm.
But sometimes we forgot that our body has the capacity to handle stress on their own. It's just that we don't give them the enough space. So I always recommend sleeping has to be before 11 because 11 to 3 o'clock, this is where in terms of TCM, liver and gallbladder detoxification time. But if you look into biomedical science, 11 to 3 o'clock, this is where our body produces the highest amount of glutathione, which is our antioxidant, the strongest antioxidant in our body, which people tend to take NAC. I'm not sure if you heard before. It's one of the supplements for that. So if we don't give our body this period of time of rest to produce that growth hormone as well as glutathione, the free radicals that we accumulate during the daytime will continue to accumulate within our body that will create or cause aging. And then when these free radicals accumulates more, they'll attack the most vulnerable cells within our body, which is the cells with a single set of chromosome, which is your egg and sperm. So,
Wow.
so I always recommend that if you are stressed, fine, just get that sleep during this period of time. You want to
Mm.
do work, can do work. You wake up in the morning and do work. I wouldn't recommend you burning the midnight oil. But then the case comes in with the Zoom, night calls, your overseas calls, and then
Mm.
and this is something that we cannot really change about it. But then the general rule, 11 to 3, because our body follows circadian rhythm, it follows the sun. Okay, the sun dictates what kind of hormones produced within our body, not us. So if we work against nature, nature will work against us.
Mm.
Yes, so this is
Wow.
something that
How powerful, how powerful. And it made me just a little bit proud about myself because I'm going to bed at 9:30 usually,
oh,
because I'm a 5 a.m. riser, so I need my sleep.
hmm,
But I go to bed quite early in the evening.
ah, that's good. So you maintain that. Then after that, of course, incultivate this habit with our kids. Then after that, they have a good start.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
Exactly. Yes. Um, you started off saying that how you do it with your kids and how important it is actually to start already at kids' age with looking into lifestyle factors and everything. Edmund, I think we need to do another podcast to
Or
discuss
parenting for
that.
kids, fertility.
Definitely.
Hmm.
Yes. You will be at the Virtus Fertility Fair on Saturday, 27th of September. For our listeners, can you share like what will happen at your booth? What will you be there in person?
Yes, yes, yes.
Fantastic. Great. Good. Okay. So for everyone who is listening and who is based in Singapore, you can meet Edmund and your team members will be there as well, or
Yes.
some of your team members.
Yes, our entire team will be down there.
Okay.
What we'll do during the booth is something very interesting where we'll do a quiz. Okay, you can scan a QR code. Okay, you can do a quiz. Then after that, you land up with your different body constitution
Mm.
for fertility patients. Then after that, with that body constitution, of course, it's not as accurate as you come in for consultation for pulse and tongue, but at least it gives us a general idea on what to do if you have this constitution, how can you optimize your lifestyle and you as a person uh
Mm.
for your fertility health. Okay, then after that we also have different because in our clinic, okay, now we serve different teas for different constitution. I mean, if you have the time, always come drop by our clinic. Okay, then after that we do a quiz. Then after that, you can see your tea. So on the actual day, we are still thinking of whether should we move the teas over, but definitely we have this quiz, and then we also have aromatherapies with in our clinic. So different constitution will require different kind of oil treatment, and then different kind of lifestyle guidance, which we'll do that in our booth on that day.
Wow, wow, this sounds amazing. So, for everyone who is listening, Edmund will be there. He has prepared lots of great activities for you to get to know about more about how TCM can help, and also how actually this amazing team can help everybody who is interested in fertility. That's really, really great. My last question. You are such a busy person, and also busy not only at work but at home as well. You have a day to yourself. What would you do and how would you spend it?
Okay, because that's a very fun question. Because with 3 kids really, at the clinic, okay, I don't get many days like this. Okay, but if I have a day completely free, I'll keep it very simple. Okay, I'll start the morning first, slow without alarm. Okay, no alarms, no rushing my kids for school. And then I'll just spend the day, actually I'll just spend the day asking my wife what she want to do.
Oh, oh, how
Uh,
lovely.
so whatever she wants to do, she want to nap, she want to do nothing, just stay there, watch TV, fine, you'll just do together. Uh,
Oh, how beautiful.
okay.
I hope that you get sometimes such little moments where you can actually do that with your wife and enjoy the time for just the two of you,
Yes,
which
yes.
is very important as well as parents, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah.
Because once you have kids,
Yeah.
me time really, yeah, but
Very small.
yeah. So I think both time together.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you so, so much for taking the time, Edmund, and for coming here and sharing so much. I've learned so much today. I took notes. I will start to digest the information. And if for those that have been listening to this, if you feel that this is going to be helpful to you, and you want to know more about like how Edmund and his amazing team at TCM EMW in Singapore can help you. Actually, are you doing online sessions as well for those listeners that are not based in Singapore? Just to cover that as well.
Um, I mean, if they want to do an online consultation, yes, we do. It's just
Okay.
that because we cannot diagnose,
Mm.
I cannot prescribe herbs for you, but I definitely can give you advice on guidance on what to do from now on. Okay.
Okay, okay, that's great to know.
Mm, mm.
So if anybody is interested, of course, it would be better to see you in person, as I
Yes,
understand, for a proper diagnosis.
correct.
Okay.
Mm,
Thank you. Thank you so, so much, Edmund, for your time. It's been
okay.
amazing. I've
Mm.
learned so much and hope that our listeners did too.
Okay, thanks for having me here today. I enjoy my time here with you, Tanya. So hopefully there's another session that you can work around.
Yes, yes, absolutely. We'll follow up on that.
Mhm.
Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Fertility Counselor podcast. Remember, you are not alone on this journey. If you need support or have any questions, reach out to us via email at inquiries@counselingconnects.com. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Fertility Connects. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to learn more about us and the services we offer, head to www.fertilityconnects.com. And if you're looking for support beyond fertility, visit www.counselingconnects.com. Take care, and we'll see you in the next episode.